Let's talk about the Eagle Eye 9 unit from Lowrance. This thing worth it? Let's find out. In full transparency, I've used the unit for a day. I expected there to be a big learning curve on it, and frankly, there was almost zero learning curve on it. To say if it's worth it or not, well, I'm going to tell you my opinions of it. At the end, I'm going to tell you what I really think. I will just start off by saying it's probably the best fish finder I've ever had on the boat. Is it a $3,000 forward-facing sonar unit? Absolutely not. Doesn't do all those things, but let's get into it. You know, right out of the box, the setup was pretty easy. You hit this pages button up here and it gives you all the options. This unit does have a very nice chart on it. You know, zoom in, zoom out, it got contour lines. It's a great map. I don't think I'm going to use that very much, but it's nice to know it's there. We'll hit the pages button again, and then we'll use this disc to navigate. Now, this replaced my Garmin's downscan that was sitting right over here because of this feature. And I think this is great that it has this. Yes, that is a giant bait ball that I'm on top of. You know, so that just looks like your traditional downscan 2D sonar. I like that I still have that option with this. We'll hit pages. You know, downscan here gives you a little bit more of a realistic kind of look. You know, if there were rocks and stuff down here, you would see that. But here's where the unit shines, what traditional 2D sonar doesn't do. We're going to go to live sonar here. So there's that bait ball that we were on top of, right? Now as I start to pan around, see if there's any predators. Well, see, now there's some bigger marks starting to come in. I'm absolutely surrounded by fish. So it actually gets pretty noisy when we get into the big bait ball there. As I continue to pan right, I start to see these solid bars. Well, I'm right next to a dock, so that's what I'm looking at there. I'm gonna come out more into open water. Pan a little bit over. I mean, there was some suspended fish. There's some suspended fish behind me. You know, those are pretty big marks. That's probably a little group of crappie that are munching on these shad right here. You know, there's some more hanging out here. Honestly, I didn't mess with the settings very much. I did find messing with your depth reading and your distance that you're reaching out does affect what you see on the screen. Let me give you an example of that. You go to this menu button. Now, we're in 25 feet of water. I have it set for 25 feet. But if I go to the downrange and bump it to say 40 feet and come out, you'll see this line here with the dead zone is much larger. So it does pay to kind of pay attention to the depth you're in and choose your depth appropriately. I'm going to go downrange less than what we're at. We're in 25. I'm going to go to 20. You choose that and you can see how much steeper that line got for the dead zone. It kind of disappears. We got some fish out there. We got some fish right in front of us suspended. That's that school that we're on top of. I'm going to go ahead and change that back to 25 feet because that is what we're in. Forward range, let's just mess with that a little bit. 80 feet's nice because you can kind of see what's out there and you can go up to it if you want to. Let's take that to 50 feet. See what it does. So that made that line more shallow again, so you're losing some screen. But you will have better definition on what's going on in here. So it's a taste preference. For me, just messing around, I've chose that 80 feet for now. I'm kind of feeling that. You know, there's contrast settings, and you know, if you have a lot of electronics and you're getting some noise, you can mess with that. But really, I didn't mess with many of the settings in here. You can change your color palette right here. So you like more of a bronze, or you're more of a blue fan, or you like the clown show. All kinds of choices. I find 3 is pretty pleasant. Now, something that's super legit, I don't know how they did it, science, but this screen is not affected by your polarized glasses. How many times have you had to do this so you can read your graph? I don't have to do that with this one. Don't know how they did it, but I love it. That's fantastic. So let's get into the, is it worth it, is it not? It's spendy. I suspect you're watching this video because it's been out for over a year now, and you know, as technology goes in this day and age, that's getting to be a little bit on the long in the tooth. There's some deals to be had now if you look and if you have the patience. If you find one of those deals where you can find 10% off, 15% off, even 20% off, I think it's a great deal. Even at $999.99, it's fantastic. Is it something I'm gonna stare at all day like the scopers do? No. I can cast out there and I can find my bait. I can watch it actually fall into the school and I can see how fish react. Caught a nice crappie yesterday that I actually saw come out of the school, and it basically merged with my bait, and I just barely lift my tip and it just felt heavy. I didn't even feel that typical crappie thump. So I truly caught that one by scoping it. But it's really not that dialed in. It only has the, what, 2 beams instead of 6 or 1 instead of 3. I don't know. That's tech stuff that I didn't get into, but it's basically 1/3 the unit that the better forward-facing sonar units are, and therefore it's 1/3 the price. Are you getting your money's worth out of it? In my opinion, absolutely. I also run a Humminbird Mega 360 imager, and I think I'm going to end up using this Eagle Eye unit in much the same way. The 360 helps me identify targets. I can find a laydown, I can find a sunken boat, I can find a rock pile, and I know that that's a high opportunity target. With this Eagle Eye unit, I can scan around, and somewhere where I would have had no idea there was a school of fish or a couple of big ones sitting on like a little underwater hump, now I know that's a target opportunity. Me personally, I'm not going to sit there staring at that screen trying to get them to react to my bait, although I think you could do it. If that's the kind of fishing you want to do with video game fishing, then I think you need a better unit. But this unit, bang for the buck, hell yeah. Hey, I hope this helps. If you already got yours, I hope the quick navigation thing helps, because honestly the buttons weren't super intuitive to me, but you know, like a dude, I took those instructions and tossed them and just kind of figured it out. There's some more settings I want to find in there. You know, it has speed, depth, and water temp right here. That's right out of the box, came with those on there. I hear you can adjust the size of those. I'm hoping you can even adjust like what's on there. I don't really care about speed, I'd rather have a clock. We'll see if I can do that. But you know, F's or S's? It's in between, but it definitely leans towards the F's side. Hey, hope that helps. We'll catch you next time. See ya.